Hello and welcome to the 12th and final episode of the Self-Isolation Tasting Series. My name is Mireille Sauve and I am your host. This is the last wine that I have in my portfolio, and so this is the last day of doing these self-isolation videos. However, I wanted to do it somewhere other than my living room for you today because part of the goal of these videos for me is sharing space with you, and one of the very special things about the Naramata bench for me is being outside in it. You can see in the hills behind me there, that is the beautiful view from where we are, which is Manitou Park. And I'm very lucky to have Manitou Park be so close to my home. The significance of doing this tasting outside here in Naramata Bench is that the fruit for this wine all comes from the Naramata Bench. So, allow me to introduce you to the Carson Pinot Noir. This is the 2016 vintage of the Carson Pinot Noir. It is a single vineyard wine that is a very small vineyard, 272 cases produced of this particular vintage. It's a really small production. A lot of people don't know Carson Pinot Noir, but you'll probably know his other wines because Chris Carson is the winemaker for Meyer Family Vineyards. And we all know that Meyer Family Vineyards has exquisite wines. They win awards all over the world, pretty much non-stop. So that's an indication of what the wines are like that Chris makes full-time, but this is a little side project that he's got. So he only makes the one wine under his own name, Carson, and it's whole cluster fermented partially, which just means that some of the grapes that are used to make this wine are actually fermented with their stems, and that gives it a little bit more complexity to the wine itself. It's unfined and unfiltered. So I always call this the wild child of Chris Carson's wines because it's a little bit more free and less structured, I'd say, but really delicious. Let me tell you all about that. So, in the nose, I get a black cherry, French vanilla, a little bit of earthiness, a green moss maybe. Lots of that black cherry. It reminds me of an Oregon Pinot Noir on the nose, but it also has a bit more complexity than Oregon Pinot Noir sometimes has on the palate. So, again with the black cherry juice, it's got a little bit of a clay structure. It's almost got an old world charm to it, not totally unlike the wines of Burgundy, France, which is the region that made Pinot Noir famous. But this wine also has a lot of structure to it. So the tannins are quite firm, but very silky and soft. So they'll hold the wine really well with a lot of different foods, pork, chicken, charcuterie. This wine is crying out for charcuterie, various cured meats and riper, hard cheeses. That's going to go really well with this. So you've got the black cherry, you've got a little bit of a mossiness, a clay structure to it, almost a little bit of minerality to it. And again, just that soft, silky tannins that wrap it all together. I think that this is the best Pinot Noir that Canada has ever made. And I'm super thrilled to have the opportunity to represent this wine. Cheers to you all for doing your part to get this COVID-19 situation under control. I know it's not easy. Proud to be Canadian, proud to be British Columbian, and pretty darn proud of this wine. Cheers, Chris. Nice job.